great evening, great morning, great afternoon. Hey, love. Hey, love. Hey, love. I'm Jessie C. Love, also known as Teacher Love, Coach Love. It is a magnanimous Monday with our workout. It's Men's Extreme Monday. This is the S.O.M.E segment, Save Our Marriage Empowerment with prayer, reflection, inspiration, courageous conversation, and encouragement. Episode number 64 for the first day in February of 2021. This year is going by very quickly. Episodes for the healthy-minded and for marriages that are healthy, want to be healthy, want to add healthy to the healthy that you already have. You're respectful, faithful, committed, and progressive. You know that you amplify one another and you multiply one another. This is the month that I call Extra Love Month. And I'm going to do my best to distract myself from my feelings that I'm going through and do these as much as possible. It is very difficult for me to do these last 60 pages of the book. So I haven't read the book since Saturday, finding out about my great uncle. So today's segment is going to be what was inputted and shared with the algorithms coming to me. So I do pray, and it is my goal, that this segment still stimulates your enthusiasm to courageously improve, add to your marriage, those who are on your way to being married, so that it's a visual of what our Creator originally designed. All right. Marriage to me is a ministry. It's beauty, and it's a beautiful thing to be married with peace and sanity, of course. Two willing individuals coming together with all of their experience, tradition, cultures, background to be interdependent and work it out. What we do immediately affects, and impacts our spouse. We ain't got to be mad. Instead, we can be glad with something that's lovingly loyal, astounding, and dynamically divine. Be wonderful. Formula for success, just like there's one for failure. Information changes situations. Applied knowledge changes what we do. And prayer changes our atmosphere. It shifts everything. Let's increase our wisdom. Zig Ziglar is someone that I look at as a mentor. And he said that someone that's not willing to learn will never be able to taught anything. But someone who is, you cannot stop them. And I'm paraphrasing that. I didn't even say it as he says it. Me, I'm on assignment. No, I'm not in covenant. Just spent countless, I don't even know. It's more than 10,000 hours with married and engaged couples ministry, talking, gleaning, listening, learning, praying, researching, reading, and of course, what I get from the Lord. So with this assignment, if it bothers you, as I say, take it up with the Lord. All right. Episode number 64. And I don't even remember what I wrote. So I'm just going to read it and get up off here. Because I got to go to Instagram since I have to do this twice. I don't have to. I get to do this twice. Yes, I do. Yeah. Because I only have one. Yeah. Okay. But I appreciate it so much. Faithful was, I don't even know why that's there. But it's faithful. A faithful marriage is not complicated. What makes it challenging oftentimes is the perception and fantasy of the way so many view it's supposed to be, the way that they think it's supposed to be instead of being as it is. I just feel really odd. I don't know. Anyway, let's go. You ain't got to see me. The windows many folks look out of are strained with misconstrued views. Ask yourself, what is it that you're connecting to marriage? For some, they feel that a woman who has taken care of herself for however long that she's supposed to lose herself all of a sudden when she gets married and be ruled over by her husband, and if she never experienced life, as if God never created her, as if she was like the scarecrow from The Wiz, no brain, or the Tin Man with no heart, or the lion when he didn't even know that he had courage. All of a sudden, she's just supposed to be blank. Healthy love doesn't stifle. The new action many of us need to take is usually what we're most hesitant to do. Instead of cleaning the dirt on the stained windows that we have, we move to the next relationship with that same dirt Same clouded vision, same misconception, and then we wonder why it doesn't work out. When that dirt starts staining the other person, the relationship falls apart, and we're right back on the same wheel running. You know, what they say is insanity. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something different. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. We can win and not envy what our Creator gifted us to do, each other to be able to do. And if you're coming in, I don't see you because I got it covered. A healthy husband knows that his wife isn't his conquest. Even if he was broken, and we went over that the other day with Bishop Blake's Jr., and how there's about 5 different preachers, pastors, teachers, mentors who are talking about the same thing that I'm on 64 with right now. Even if he was broken or downright toxic before becoming healthy, and abused women for what we could get from them, be it their body, be it money, be it services, and so forth. The healthy husband realized that he wasn't made to dominate or diminish his wife, who he finally caught the eye of, and she accepted him into her life to build her and be in covenant with her. She's a reflection and an indication of where he is in his consciousness and his relationship with our higher power, who a lot of us call God. Is this always true? No, not for the unhealthy man that is like the serpent seeking who he can devour. Yeah, a man that sees women as a conquest is like the enemy's soldier, going all over to kill, steal, and or destroy. When that right there dropped in my spirit, I don't even remember what I write. When that right there dropped in my spirit, I thought about relationships I've had, where I was stifled, deprived, sapped, and basically treated as if all that mattered was my body. Except for the grace of God, those hazardous connections didn't destroy or kill me. I tell you, I don't remember. When it comes, I write and then I leave it until I come and present it to you. Woo! Like, why am I telling all my business? Well, it's in the book anyway. When a healthy man comes into a woman's life, he's there to help her live more abundantly. Ooh-wee. Remember that scene in Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman? I don't remember her name, and I didn't look it up. I told myself and completely forgot about it. Closed this and went on about my day. But whatever her name is, maybe it'll come to me. She was married to the one named Charles, and she'd been there with him for 15 years, was it? I think. Giving him life. Attempting to give him life. Wanting to have children. And as she said, she was trying to give him life, and all he did was take from her. He had another woman that he treated with love and adoration to the point that she could carry 2 children full term and birth them. So he was pouring into the other woman, sapping away from the one that he was married to, that had been there from the beginning when they didn't have nothing. He was going higher and she was there lifting. Had her stressed out, hair falling out. 2 miscarriages. I remember that like I'm watching it. I may even go watch it because I didn't. I just wrote the example down. He spewed toxicity to the one he was in covenant with. And Charles went from toxic to broken, and then giving his life to God in the end. Yeah. He learned. He asked for forgiveness and apologized for what he had done. After she came back and was taking care of his paralyzed self. And finally able to talk. Because now she had met somebody that was healthy and was showing her a different way. A better way. A healthy way. even though he had been hurt, that had healed and he wasn't bleeding on somebody else. He wasn't bleeding on her. He wanted to show her better. And then she got to that point where she found better. So Charles was able to finally give his life to our Creator and submit. But thankfully, her name is just not coming to me. She ended up realizing what a healthy husband could be. And in her own healing, she went for him instead. Ain't no going back and forth with the one. I'm so grateful that you have grown and you have now found the Lord and you healthy again for the next one. Rather have joy, contentment, peace, optimism, support, consistency, and love over rekindling just because he finally got better. And, he was more financially wealthy. Well, no more time to be selling souls. None. All right. Y'all know I love E.T. And I always talk about the hip hop preacher, Dr. Thomas. Well, my algorithm, or I guess it's my algorithm and me talking, reminded me today of the times where I was watching a post talking about his friends. And I've always talked about this. I've talked about it a few times with these segments where his friends or acquaintances tried to make him feel bad because of the way he loves his wife. They tried to tease him and clown him for the love that he demonstrated. Now, Dr. Thomas and his wife, whose name I forget too, have been together since he was 16 years old. He is now 50. Yeah, it's possible. And he ain't looking for another woman. And the one that was sent to me today, he said that she's the one that encouraged him to get his GED. She's the one that made him come to college with her to get his bachelor's degree. She's the one that inspired him to get his master's degree. And then he decided to go past her to get his PhD. And I quote, they told him that he had a ball and chain because only a broken man or a toxic man will call a woman as a wife, ball and chain. He ended up agreeing. Dr. Thomas agreed. And I think that the reason why he agreed is the next comment that he made after it to explain it. And I quote, I wrote it down. I sure did. And I quote, I'm where I am because of this girl. I should have been locked up like my boys. I should have been dead like my boys. I'm the #1 motivational speaker in the world because of her. I'm getting cashed out because of her. And so the reason I'm not trying to talk to no other chick, the reason why I ain't trying to commit adultery is because why would I mess this up? Why would I mess up? Why would I screw up the very thing that got me to where I am? Been with her since he was 16. He's 50. Just turned 50 last year. Yeah, it's possible. Then Jeremiah Regis. His father told him that old ball and chain is a myth unless you're with the wrong person. Marriage is what you make it. And I quote that. When he met his wife, he saw something in her. He was aware of himself. He saw attributes that were similar to the women that he honored in his life, his mom, his aunt, his cousins. He knew he had to keep her. And his father told him to never be selfish with her, to see his partner first and invest. Okay? He and his wife, Shay, their parents have been married for a combined 64 years. At Christmas, I meant to post that picture. I'm going to have to post it after I get off. They did a picture where all three of them were together. They had both of their sets of parents on the outside and them in the middle, and they all were in matching pajamas for each married couple. Silk. pajamas at that. And the picture went viral because it was like, who says that marriage can't work? That you can't get along with your in-laws? Both sets. All right. So they have inspiration. They both have great close examples of healthy marriages. For Shay, she saw her mother and father move together. They were always united. They were unified. She learned that one moment didn't have to mean that it had to become one bad moment. Didn't have to become a bad day. Didn't have to become a bad week. Didn't have to become a bad month. Didn't have to become a bad year. Long as both were working through it, having dominion together, doing everything together. And as her father said, the good, the bad, and the ugly, working it out together. Love equals emotions. It equals thoughts, ideals, and more. Collis, I think his name was Collis, another one that was sent to me today. He said, when you know, you know. He denied it at first and then decided to give in to it. He was in disbelief that love could happen the way that it did because of what he had learned and what he had seen. He had to submit to the process and trust it. Why? Because they met in an Uber. Why did they even talk? Because Heather is the one that approached him in the Uber. She was intoxicated. She got in the front seat while her best friend and her best friend's husband got in the back seat. They got in the back seat. She was intoxicated, looked over, saw a handsome man, asked him if he had a girlfriend, and he was like, no, ma'am. And she said, well, do you want one? They got to talking, and her intoxication and being a little more upfront, all inhibitions taken, she went for it. And ended up kissing him on the neck or the cheek or something. Got out, went to a concert, forgot all about him. He texted her that night, asking her if she got in all right after he got off his shift. He just wanted to make sure she was all right. She didn't see it. The next morning or the next day, he sent her another message just to check on her. She's looking like, well, who is this? Because he put his name this time. She didn't remember who he was. So she called her best friend. It's like, hey, did I give my number to somebody? And she was like, you don't remember? And she was like, no. Yeah. Whatever them cocktails were, they were strong. So she ended up telling him to send her a picture. And the man is gorgeous. He's gorgeous. And they went on a date. From then on, they've pretty much been inseparable. After the date, he was like, when you know, you know. They connected. They got married. Last year, 4 months after getting married, they got pregnant. Their son is now, I think, maybe 6 months old. Beautiful baby. Last year, they bought a home together. Both of them increasing. It's like, it's uncommon, but they had to be open to it. And both of them are attractive. She spoke up. That's the thing. They done bought a home in the middle of a pandemic. Man, when we're open, taking the limits off, we can become amazed by the blessing that's waiting for us. Another marriage. There was a lot of videos that came to me today. The man was loving all of her pictures, and she decided, who is this loving all of my pictures? Not liking, not picking and choosing, not, she's pretty today, so I'm a like that one. Oh, this one's beautiful, so I'm gonna love that one. Well, this one's okay, I'm gonna like it. He was loving all of her pictures. She decided, let me go on his direct messenger and see what he's about. Acknowledged and thanked him for loving her pictures, because he loved them all. It was a love on all of them. And she was like, I see you. And he was like, I see you too. They started talking, communicating. In the middle of a pandemic, quarantine, decided to go ahead and have a date with some distance and met up And he said that even with her mask on, when she got out of the car, it was nighttime. But as soon as she stepped out, it was like the sun came up and brightened everything. He said he hadn't felt that way before. And he knew then. The conversation wasn't surface. Like, those of you that are married, there's a few times where I've been like, do you know her favorite color, her favorite food, her favorite music, her favorite scent, or even her favorite panty set, whatever. You should know all of that regardless. With them, they were more intentional. She'd been married before. Both of them got kids. She didn't want no more kids, and neither did he. They got that out the way, knowing that. Deep conversations. Whatever she asked him, he was able to answer. Remember that Queen of Sheba that I talked about when she took all of her questions? Or was it Queen of Sheba or Esther? I think it might have been Queen Esther. She took all of her questions, and he answered them. Oh, it was Queen of Sheba, excuse me. Solomon answered all her questions. He wasn't hiding nothing. Yeah. In that, being very intentional. She says she felt safe. Those of you who've been with me for quite some time, you've heard me talk about that. Healthy husbands help their wives feel safe at all times. There's never chaos. There's never confusion. There's never a wondering, what's going on? Because women are thinkers. It's natural. It's a gift from our Creator. He said that he became a better man because of her. Her mind opened his mind. And then he was asked, well, how did you know? And when he began talking, he started crying. He had me crying. He had her crying. Man, I was like, oh my gosh, because of the love and the depth that he had for her. The accolades that he poured out wasn't just about her pulchritude. It wasn't just about she's beautiful. He went deep. And I was like, this man has been being attentive. He got something to say. Healthy husbands do have something to say all the time about the woman in their life. Because they know. They know. It wasn't surface. You could feel what he was saying with his heart. I wasn't going to write that down to quote. They got engaged September 2020. Found love in the quarantine. He asked her the question. I'm not calling a woman a dog, and a man either for that matter. There are people that say that, and I'm like, you obviously haven't had a dog for you to think that. No. What I'm about to say is to help us think a little deeper. I'm always into thinking, being analytical. Not anal, but analytical. I'm just one that thinks. Think about how there's this saying that, I'm guessing that you can relate to the way that you talk about your wife and the feelings, because I don't know where you caught me. I didn't even know you were here, but thanks for speaking. Think about how we always say that dogs love bones. Oh, dogs love a bone. Dogs love a bone. And I'm like, dogs love meat. The problem is most people only give them bones, so they accept it. Try giving or attempt to give a dog some meat and see what happens. What goes first? Is he going to go for the bone, or is he going to cherish that meat? We got to open our minds. Give the dog some meat and see how he responds. I also previously talked about the wealth gap and how Black people are collectively lower in financial wealth compared to smaller groups. And I gave an example the other day of a woman earning $50,000. Yes, gotcha. And a man in the household, regardless of who's living with whom, if she moved in with him or he moved in with her, or they decided to move in together and they have the lease together, but they're not in covenant. They just, what we call shacking, living together. In 2018, and I have no idea why this showed up on me, but I guess because I'm talking about it, all of this is coming to me. 2018, the family of black people barely had an income over 40,000 because we're single and living together. Now, with my 50,000 being in covenant with my husband's 60, 70,000, that means that we have more buying power, we have a different financial bracket, and our incomes are combined. Now, what we do with them is, we'll work that out. But I'm no longer just 50,000. I have more power, so to speak, because I have my husband, according to the law of the land. Yeah, it's different. Why we are so skeptical of supporting one another and being in covenant, it's amazing. But the ones who are in covenant, if you ask the majority of them, because the woman amplifies and brings more, and as I talked earlier about how, or maybe I didn't tell you, I am not even sure, but I was listening to someone talk about how it could be a whole bunch of men in a meeting and they have all these ideas. When a woman gets hold of it, it could be a secretary, it could be just somebody passing by, it could be a delivery woman, even I don't know what movie it was I was watching where there was a man who had paid a woman for her body and afterwards got up, maybe even the next day, and he was just talking about an idea that he had. And the lady of the evening said something. And what she said, he took to heart, and it raised his status because it was just what he needed to hear. Unfortunately, she didn't benefit from it because that wasn't his wife. But she said something that sparked and basically connected what he hadn't been able to figure out for years. And he got it from a lady of the night. Just listening to him. Sometimes we talk too much. I don't think I'd have told him, Jack. Nah. I don't think so. And it's so easy for us to do it. Well, have you thought about, well, maybe if you do this, or this, I've done it myself. There was no kind of intimate relationship where as soon as a man said something and it was like wheels went, boom, I immediately could tell him, you should probably look into blah, blah, blah. Do this, do this, do this. Have you thought about this, 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 and this? And if you focus on this part first and then you move to this part, then I think that would, yeah. They wasn't my man. I don't even think they even had a woman, but because we were in conversation, a few of them took me up on it. Some did. Some of them didn't. That's a paradigm shift. Well, yeah. True that too. Now the ones who didn't listen, they still in the same spot. But it's like, okay, did you even attempt to do? Well, no. Okay. Ain't nothing else for me to say. Because, that's that whole casting your pearls. God said, I gave, you just totally dismissed it. Okay. I'll see you when you get to the top, however you get there. I'm grateful for you. They got nothing to do with me. Nothing. This whole clubhouse that's going on, I saw something with Master P recently. Not only in my emails, but also a story because I was watching Master P. And I was like, if y'all ain't been listening, I hate that he didn't stay with his wife. The one that was there the whole time. However, Master P got like a fish fry. He took that $10,000 from his life insurance policy that his father left him, and he's turned it into a bigger empire. Besides the record company and all of that, his son got chips, but Master P now got fish fry, and he got some cereal, He making me think about even trying the cereal if I ever find it. And he just had a line of products that he's been working on. And I'm like, you ain't really heard nothing from Master P, but he's a hustler, he's a worker, he's a thinker, he's a businessman. And I was like, I'm gonna try them cereal. I might go back to eating cereal. But he talked about that Clubhouse. And he was like, if it had been developed by a black person, would we be so hype about it? True, Cassandra. There's only so much that I'm willing to say now. I didn't put my foot in my mouth quite a bit. Just giving ideas. Sometimes I feel like this is putting my foot in my mouth too, but this ain't got nothing to do with me. I love marriage. And only the devil don't want to see a marriage thrive. On the other side, I'm a little more cognizant about what I say to folks. You know, and I really ask God to let me know whether or not I should say what drops into me when they say something. Because I'm like, he ain't going to do nothing with it. Why am I saying it to you? Clubhouse only started really thriving when we backed it. Nobody even knew about it. You know, Giblify is out there. Giblify is black owned, but not too many people are connected to it. Clubhouse, you know, you got Oprah that jumped on it, and you got hip hop rappers that jumped on it and blew it up to where, you know, little two men that did it, I think they like billion. Did they jump up to the billion? I think they jumped up to the billion. I don't know. But somehow we forget about our own small beginnings and we forget about our buying power, especially when we're connected in covenant. But we'll go and we'll just do it to everybody else. I have no idea who that is. So I'm about to call you back. Yeah. Created to be we're the multiplier. We amplify everything, Cassandra. That's what women do. Yeah. And it's now becoming like the healthy husbands, the healthy men are starting to really see it now with all of the changes that are starting to happen. I ain't talking about no feminist movement and rah-rah women pounding on, because I ain't doing that strong black woman stuff no more. I'm not her. Just the fact of healthy men realizing the gift that has been instilled with the way that we were created, to where they're listening just a little bit more. Focusing on how can we get this done. We've been doing it this way. That don't seem to be working. How about we get a listening ear and see what this one has to say? And there's a change going on. Don't ever fret small beginnings. It may take a little bit longer, but our Creator's timing is always on time. Always. And it becomes something big. If it's designed to be that way. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and read the prayer. I have no idea what it says because I didn't read it. And then the love there and see what happens with that too. It says, thank you for your loving kindness. Thank you for my best friend, my wife, who loves me with the same kind of love that you have for me. Your example of true love has transformed us and our marriage in extraordinary ways. We continue to mature individually and together as one, and we are nowhere near being perfect. Ain't no such thing. Yeah, broken. A lot of them are toxic. And we know that pride comes before a fall. And that acronym of ego, edging God out, hinders so much. And it becomes a cycle. It's like, you hurt, so you go hurt somebody else. Then you leave that one hurt, and then they go hurt somebody else. And then we just destroy each other. And these folks sit back looking at us like, hey, you ain't got to do nothing. Let them keep on doing it. We won't mature. We won't ask for forgiveness. We won't say, I'm sorry, and then move forward. We stay in the brokenness instead of healing. That's the whole point of getting from toxic. If you get broken, don't get to toxic. But if you are broken, learn to get to healthy. And a lot of us don't even want to seek counseling. It's like, I'm good. I got it going. I got it. I'm cool. No, you're not. Because then you bleed on somebody else. And if they weren't hurt, then they get hurt. And then they may transfer that to somebody else. And it's just this black hole that we don't. Yeah, it's something else. Yeah, that's why I was always around healthy married folk. Because I needed to see it. It's like, what I see too much portrayed, it can make you go crazy looking at what's always in your face on TV and everything else. Like, no, that is not the way that it has to be. Don't y'all see? They are purposely showing that to make it seem like that's our norm. And then their norm is this. No. Yeah. Love seems to cover all imperfections. And by doing so, we can still experience intimacy in our marriages. There are times that we're going to struggle with conflict. And it don't say drama. It says conflict. We can also reconcile through the power of grace and the willingness to apologize and forgive. I think I just said that. Thank you for giving me a wife that knows grace. I'm confident that regardless of our disagreements, wasn't I talking about disagreements earlier on another segment? We don't have to become disagreeable, but we will have disagreements. Or moments of selfishness, which we shouldn't, but we will get them. Our marriage will continue to grow deeper and more intimate. God, guide her heart through your word and help her to submit to you in prayer on a regular basis. Mature her understanding of who you are, and may your relationship with her grow exponentially. I pray against the enemy and any deceitful people the enemy uses to attempt to tear us down. He said to tear us down. Should have said attempt to, because they do come to attempt. And they do come to steal, kill, and destroy. And it don't matter who it is, because the enemy is the only one that doesn't want to see marriage thrive. Bind the enemy in Jesus' name and protect my wife from being tossed back and forth by any kind of teaching or trend that is not of you. Yeah, I've seen it years ago by watching my mother, but my wife has taken it to the next level. She saw the balance in me, and that creates a strong team. Chess game of life. Yeah, I still don't know how to play chess. But, And if more of us were aware of that and got to it, we'd be so much more successful. And rebuilding the family dynamic, as well as raising healthy children. Man. Love Dare, day 32. It says, love has a righteous anger. Your God's wrath is revealed from heaven against all godlessness and unrighteousness in Romans 1:18. God has reasons for getting angry, can also be counted on to oppose those who rise up against him and his people, as he did toward the Egyptian Pharaoh, who enslaved the Israelites and pursued them at the Red Sea, Exodus 15:6. God is angry against those who inflict pain and suffering on the helpless and unprotected, Exodus 22:21-24. His wrath will ultimately burn against all who remain stubborn and unrepentant in the face of God's gracious gospel. Romans 2:5-8. From this we learn that love should be angry at those things that anger the heart of God, even in our spouses. When should we be brokenhearted? When his honor is attacked and his people mistreated. The scripture warns us about being angry without a cause, but at times our anger does have a cause. And while love leads us to be restrained in our reactions, it is powerful enough to use anger when important matters are at stake. Okay. Yes, because I'm still angry myself right now. Righteous anger speaks the truth in love and has the goal of restoration rather than destruction. The prayer says, Father, give me the discernment and wisdom to express an appropriately righteous anger when I should. Use it to bring about restoration rather than further wrongs. In Jesus' name, amen. I ain't did no wrongs, but I still say, with a strong forget and F, that vaccine. Yeah. I'm still angry, and I know that. So, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that today's was talking about that still, too. I appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning in to S.O.M.E, Save Our Marriage Empowerment with prayer, reflection, inspiration, courageous conversation, and encouragement. Remember that your iron is sharpening iron. At Proverbs 27:17. You are a team. You have to put in the work, put in the effort, and keep the enemy out. You keep each other covered. Okay? You're going to have disagreements. You don't have to become disagreeable. You are not going to agree on everything. You're two different people coming together. Put in the work, manage it. Be with willingness to do whatever it takes without causing harm, having optimism, the O, to see that there is silver lining somewhere. It may be harder in some cases. The R is to reinvent yourself, that going from good to great. The K is to have a kindred spirit. The right relationships and be able to ask for help and to receive it. Yeah. It's about the team. When we love ourselves, it's so much easier to love someone else. And then it's so great to get that love back. However, we need the love back. We've gone through the love languages. You may need all 5. Put in the effort, invest in each other. And man, it's a beautiful thing to see what the end is going to be. And to know every time you go to sleep that you did everything possible to not only keep your happy, but to keep your spouse's happy. Because I say happy house is with a happy spouse. Happy spouse, happy house. Everybody feels good. Nobody feels left out. Being able to look in that mirror when you're praying and just be like, God, I did my best today. Thank you for even allowing me. So yeah. It's Magnanimous Monday. I still do, as I say, appreciate your time, because you could have been anywhere. You didn't have to come here with me, even if you do the replay. Thank you. As always, walk in love, talk in love, speak in love, look in love. Do everything in love. Even when you're angry. Find a way to get some love going. Have your righteous anger. Just be healthy with it. Until next time, and as always, maybe I'll read these last 70 plus pages and close this next book. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever my spirit ends up saying. If not, then we'll see whatever comes tomorrow for episode 65. The Lord said the same. Thank you for the hugs. Appreciate it. Until next time, and as always, love you more. Be love.